All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the routine weekly briefing for Central North Carolina, covering the period from today through next Sunday, July 9th. So first, taking a look at what we have going on today, we have multiple weather hazards for today. First, taking a look at the severe storm risk, you can see that all of Central North Carolina is in a slight risk or a level 2 out of 5 for severe storms this afternoon and evening. And slight risk means scattered severe storms possible, short-lived and or not widespread, and isolated intense storms are possible. And the main threats are damaging winds. Probably that's the biggest threat, but there also could be some large hail. And of course, frequent deadly lightning is always possible with any storm. And the greatest threat should be from about 3 to 9 p.m. today. And really anywhere across our area. There isn't one area, one part of our area favored more than another. And we're also in a marginal risk. We're a level 1 out of 5 for excessive rain. So that means that isolated flash flooding is possible, mostly in poor drainage locations. So taking a look also at the other big weather hazard for today is the very high heat indices that we're expecting. So you can see the forecast maximum heat indices today are well into the 100s across much of the area, except maybe the far northwest. But for the most part, we're expecting heat indices over 100 today, and even as high as 105 to 110 across eastern parts of the area. And we're already seeing heat indices in some spots, in some eastern areas. We're already seeing them observed over 100 degrees, even at this hour. And so because of that, we have a heat advisory in effect for today, basically from the Triangle region to the south and east of there. And that goes until 8 p.m. today. So looking at tomorrow, again, we're expecting high heat indices for the 4th of July. And this is particularly a concern because of the holiday, and many people are probably going to be outside tomorrow. So it does look like there's going to be a slight relief, slightly lower temperatures resulting in heat indices more like in the mid 90s in the far northwest to 100 to 105 in the southeast. But even this is still quite high and potentially dangerous, particularly for people that are outside for long periods of time, which again, that could happen tomorrow with it being a holiday. So just some heat tips I've put here. Make sure to drink plenty of fluids, of course. If possible, stay in the shade and out of the sun as much as possible, or in an air-conditioned room. And try to reschedule any strenuous outdoor activities to the early morning or the evening when it's cooler. Try to wear lightweight and loose-fitting clothing. Check up on relatives and neighbors, especially the children and the elderly who are the most sensitive to heat. And know the symptoms of heat exhaustion or heat stroke so you can take action if you're starting to see those signs. And very important also to never leave children or pets unattended in vehicles. Vehicles can get very hot. It doesn't even take outside temperatures that hot to really result in the inside of vehicles heating up. So with temperatures as high as we're expecting, vehicles are going to get very warm very quickly and dangerously hot. So next, just looking at the upcoming weather pattern for Central North Carolina, just an overview of what we're expecting. We can see that today there's a cold front and associated low pressure system over the northeast, and this cold front will begin to approach our area today and tonight, and very hot and humid air out ahead of it will result in an unstable air mass and scattered showers and storms developing, some of which could be strong to severe. And then tomorrow, the cold front reaches our area and then kind of just stalls out and eventually washes out by the end of the week. But with this front lingering nearby, there's going to be continued daily shower and storm chances through the end of the work week, and probably even a bit above normal chances. You know, we usually see diurnal showers and storms in the summertime, but with this frontal boundary lingering near the area, chances will be probably a bit more elevated than usual. And there will be at least a slight relief in the heat with this front near our area, but it will still be hot and humid. Temperatures in the low 90s through the end of the week for highs, and lows in the lower 70s in many places. And so heat indices could still be in the mid to upper 90s through the end of the week. And then by this weekend, another cold front starts to approach from the west, and this could again result in greater coverage of showers and storms, and maybe a bit more relief from the heat for this weekend. So looking at the severe storm potential for the next week, again, we have the slight risk in effect everywhere today, and damaging winds are the biggest threat, but large hail is also possible. And then for tomorrow and Wednesday, there's a marginal risk in effect for parts of the area. And it looks like the most favored areas are in the south and east. Looking at accumulated rainfall forecasts through the next 5 days, so we're expecting generally on the order of about a quarter to maybe up to 3/4 of an inch on average each day through the end of this work week. And some locations that see thunderstorms, especially if they train over the same spots, these locations could see locally higher amounts than that for sure. But these are just the average amounts that we're expecting. So the 5-day total is on the order of 1 to 2 inches on average that we're expecting. So it will be a fairly wet week. So fortunately, one thing that is not active right now is the tropics. So we don't have any new tropical cyclones expected during the next week. Nothing that the National Hurricane Center is really having to monitor closely at this time. So then looking ahead to the 8 to 14-day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, you can see that actually they have us in slightly increased chances of below normal temperatures and slightly increased chances of above normal precipitation during this period. This would be July 10th through the 16th. We'll see if that holds. That would definitely be a nice relief from the heat. And just to give some perspective here, normal high temperatures this time of year are in the upper 80s to lower 90s, with lows right around 70. So again, to summarize, we're expecting strong to severe storms to develop this afternoon and evening across all of central North Carolina. And there's a slight risk, level 2 of 5, of severe storms. Damaging straight line winds are the biggest threat, but large hail is also possible, as well as isolated flash flooding. We're also expecting very hot and humid conditions today, with heat indices up to 105 to 110, particularly in the south and east. And then tomorrow, heat indices will be slightly lower, but still quite high, over 100 degrees in some places, again, and mainly in the south and east. And with more people outside for the holiday, it's even more important to take extra precautions for the heat tomorrow. And we're really expecting, with the stalled cold front, daily shower and storm chances really through the end of this week. There will be a slight relief in the heat through the end of the week, but it will still be hot and humid. And then another cold front will potentially result in even greater coverage of showers and storms this weekend. So it definitely looks like an active and unsettled pattern. I see Larry asked a question, any sense of what kind of wind gusts we might see today? So generally, I would say maybe on the order of up to 60 to maybe 70 mile an hour gusts. That's the threshold for a severe storm is 60 miles an hour. So we are in a slight risk with the main threat being damaging straight line winds. So 60 mile an hour wind gusts are certainly possible with any storms today, and maybe even higher than that. All right, that concludes the weekly briefing. And does anyone have any additional questions?